Our life and our legacy is defined by the decisions that we make. My name is Justin Babbitt. I'm a professional DJ and MC. It was an opportunity to serve my nation, which is the highest honor that I could imagine. January 1st of 2006 is when I founded my company, Paradox Production. And if I can create an environment that is so happy and so uplifting that it provides extra power, support, and inspiration in those difficult moments later in life, that's what I'm here for. And I'm a legacy maker because I seek to create ripples through generations of positivity and impact.
Justin Babbitt's childhood was defined by a search for control in a home filled with conflict. In a world where the music was muted, Justin found his own ways to create freedom.
My childhood was probably not too dissimilar from a lot of kids in the 80s. We grew up in a household that went to church every Sunday, and that was required. We did not listen to any secular music. The only artist that I remember from my childhood is Amy Grant. Even though I grew up in the 80s, I didn't know who Michael Jackson was until the 90s. As a child, I remember playing with Hot Wheels cars and creating race tracks and racing them around. It would transport me from being present to some fantasy that I had control over my environment. I was required to walk to school one morning. I don't remember what I did that was considered to be misbehavior, but I was, I think, in second grade, and I decided that instead of walking to school because I would miss physical education, which was my favorite class, I was gonna run, and I had control over how fast I got there. So I ran to school, and it worked. I made the class, but when we were coming out of it, I came out to my parents at the school who were crying because they had tried to follow me to ensure that I didn't get kidnapped, but they couldn't find me because I ran so fast. So I think that that is probably a representative of what has really carried me through life and why I became an entrepreneur, is because I really want to have control over my environment, circumstances, and freedom.
He was always determined. I remember one time we used to take hikes. One time on the way back to Eugene, we stopped and we went on a hike. So I made everybody a stick, a walking stick to walk with. And his was the shortest because he was just a little guy, right? And he wanted a stick bigger than his sister's. You know, he was so determined. And finally I said, "Well, you want mine, son?" And his eyes got big. He said, "Yeah." And I said, "Well, if you take it, you got to carry it all the way out and you got to carry it all the way back." And on the way back, he's getting tired and this thing is dragging behind him now. He's not using it anymore. And suddenly he's right in front of me and he drops his stick and he just keeps on walking. And I said, "Justin, you forgot your stick?" So he came back, picked it up, he carried it all the way. He was tough and determined.
When I was, I think, 12 years old, I was told that if I earned straight A's, I would get a new bike. And so that was probably the only time in my life that I did get straight A's. And so I got a new bike, and that opened up a world of freedom for me. I rode my bike all over town, probably 20, 30, 40 miles a day. I like the possibility of the unknown, and that's what my bicycle represented to me as a kid. I remember listening to hip hop for the very first time. It was In Too Deep. It was also Crisscross. And because I had grown up sheltered from secular music, it blew my mind. And there was so much attitude and there was so much feeling and emotion. And I could relate to what I heard, not specifically necessarily, but the essence of what they were trying to express through music. And it really blew the roof off and opened me up to ultimately the career that I chose. I don't remember the first time that I went to a nightclub, but I do remember doing it at 15 years old. I don't remember how I got a fake ID, but I did, and it got me into a 16 and over club, and I was captivated by it. The environment, the culture, the DJs, it just had emotion in it, and it moved people, and it moved me.
Seeking a deeper sense of structure, he pivoted toward a profound calling in the United States military.
And Marine Corps boot camp is really ultimately just a game. And once you figure that out, it's not too difficult. We went through about 6 different guides. Guide is the leader of the platoon, and I think there was about 80 recruits. They all got fired, and they were burning us one day, which means they sent us to the sand pit. And I realized what they were doing, and they had just fired the guide, so they were looking for somebody else to be the leader. And so when it clicked, I kicked it into high gear, and then when we were back in the pit, we were doing push-ups, and I spit on the ground because I was choking a little bit. And the senior drill instructor looked over at me and he said, "Babbitt, put it back in your mouth." And I hesitated for half a second, realized at that moment what he was doing. This was the ultimate test. And so I reached down and grabbed a handful of sand and I put it in my mouth and went back to the push-up position. He said, "Spit it out." I came to the front. They put the guide around my arm that said the number of our platoon. And that was 1 month into boot camp. And I was guide for the next 2 months and graduated as the honor guide of our platoon. I remember waking up just after 6 a.m. one morning, and my mom said, "Justin, come here, look at the TV." And one of the Twin Towers was on fire. And as we were standing there watching that, the second plane hit the towers, and I was in the Marine Corps Reserves at this point. And my dad was in the room, and the three of us looked at each other, and we all knew that at some point that meant activation and war. And when we see our nation being attacked in such a devastating manner, I had a feeling of excitement. We get to use what we were trained to do, but it was an opportunity to serve my nation, which is the highest honor that I could imagine. So as we were practicing immediate action drills in Kuwait before we invaded Iraq, I was laying in the dirt and I realized that I may not make it home. And I decided that if I make it home, it's an opportunity for a second lease on life. And in that moment, I decided that I will buy DJ equipment and pursue a career as a DJ if I make it home. Being in a place where there was so much destruction and chaos and misery, I decided that I wanted to be a part of contributing to the happiness of the world, to bringing happiness to people. And I know that music is a way to do that. My second tour in 2005, I had my own space and I had my turntables shipped to me in Iraq, and I built out my own studio there. And that's where I created my first mixtape. And every Friday night I would pack up my turntables and I would carry them over to the Morale, Welfare, and Recreation Center, which is where Marines and soldiers went to just relax. They had Xboxes there, they had, a dancing area, and I would DJ for a couple hours.
Home from Iraq, Justin faced a new challenge, translating a passion forged in war into a viable business. Justin was determined to succeed on his own terms, even if it meant breaking all the rules of an industry he never planned to join.
He went to Iraq the first time and he came home and he had a pocket full of money. I asked him what he was going to do, and he said he was going to continue to go to school, college. And I said, "Well, what do you do to make a living?" And he said, "I've always wanted to be a DJ." And I said, "Well, you're 20 years old. You got no responsibilities. You're going to have a family. I said, go for it, man, because if you fail, you lost nothing. You can recover quickly."
When I came home from Iraq, I bought all the equipment, started DJing, but I didn't know anybody. So I would go and I would watch DJs, I would stand behind them. I grew up in the club industry in Portland, met DJs like DJ Nature, DJ OG1, Evil One, and those were the heavy hitters of the club at the time. And so I entered a competition where those guys were in it, and competing against them really let me know that, hey, you're on a trajectory of something cool here. The day that I separated from the Marine Corps was December 31st of 2005. January 1st of 2006 is when I founded my company, Paradox Productions. I did not, however, want to be a wedding DJ whatsoever. Every wedding DJ, or every wedding that I had ever been to, had a corny DJ, did the same thing every single time. And so I decided that I would try it, and if I didn't like it, if people wouldn't let me do it the way that I thought that it should be done, then I wouldn't pursue that route.
I first encountered Justin about 15 years ago, and I was trying to find DJs in a different market that had grown a brand that I was trying to grow, which was cool DJ, but also professional in the wedding industry. And I discovered him online, and I just loved his presence. He had this like super cool factor to him, but it was polished and clean and professional. And I just loved that about him. And what I really noticed about him is that he actually listened. When we had a conversation, he was actually paying attention and engaging in a good conversation. I come across a lot of people, a lot of DJs, and they want to talk and not do a lot of listening. And it's very obvious because I'm a good listener and he's the same way. And I think that's what made us instantly click, is like we actually respected one another and listened to what each other had to say, and that cultivated a good solid friendship and relationship.
And in 2007, I accepted my first wedding booking. I was the first club breakout DJ in the Portland market to do that. And at that time, we were still using vinyl records to mix, but it was a crossover time of digital music and digital DJing. It was the first time that DJs were able to edit original tracks. You take a record from the 80s and you put a synthesized beat underneath it, and now it's got a lot more body and it's a lot more danceable for the younger generations, even if it's a classic record. So it kind of bridged the gap, so to speak. So at one of the weddings, a photographer named Ben Powers saw me DJ, and he knew immediately that it was something that was going to be highly successful in this space. And at that time, he had Powers Photography. It was the largest, most successful, most popular wedding photography company in the Portland market. The leads started rolling in and people started booking me. In hindsight now, I see that what I intended for selfish purposes, God had a plan to twist and to use to benefit his plan, a much broader range of people that I could serve.
This is DJ OG1, official Portland Trailblazer DJ, and a longtime friend of my man Justin, aka DJ Paradox. One of the biggest things that I love about this dude, I have to try not to get really emotional about this. In 2016, I went through a battle with cancer, and 2017, when I went into surgery, I woke up blind and didn't know, what was going to happen to me as relates to my career. And I was right in the middle of the NBA season with the Blazers and about to do some tour stuff that summer. And I was booked out for gigs. But when this incident happened with me, I couldn't DJ. I was blind. I couldn't use my arm, and I was, bed rest. I couldn't do anything. Justin and Paradox Productions and the whole crew team of DJs over there, man, stepped in. They stepped in. They took my gigs and went and fulfilled all the contractual agreements that I had, and they gave me the money. And that really, to me, spoke volumes to me of the type of man that Justin is. For him to do that when there was a lot of DJs that I know and I've known for years that didn't step up like that to help me in that situation. And not that I asked them or expected them to, but in a sense, Justin set the bar for what friendships in those type of spaces should look like.
With a successful brand came a painful realization for Justin. Technical skill wasn't enough, and a series of personal and professional crises would force a complete reinvention of the business and the man behind it.
So I was raised in a household where I didn't learn a lot of emotional intelligence. I carried that into the Marine Corps, and it was emboldened in the Marine Corps because Marines don't necessarily have a high level of emotional intelligence. So then I carried that into the marketplace. I thought that being an alpha male and force feeding people with my energy and being the best that I could be and proving that I was better than others, I thought that was how you would get to the top. And what I learned as an entrepreneur, when I couldn't get along with people or when I responded in an emotional, immature manner in the workspace. So I would say ultimately, while talent is extremely important, and I'm highly proud of the high level of talent that we offer at Paradox Productions, I know now that that's not the most important aspect when building a brand and building a company and offering a service. It's really how you make people feel and the relationships that you build. But network is always going to trump talent.
First, Justin got divorced. It's a hard thing, but it was the right thing. He was not paired well with his then wife. He needed to move along from that relationship. He needed to turn his attention to himself. Justin looked inward. Justin even sought out help from his military community and picked up Gus, his emotional support dog, which I think has been a real asset to him?
There was a 2-year period in my life that was the hardest chapter that I've ever been through. It wasn't war, it wasn't the Marine Corps, it wasn't drugs and alcohol dependence. It was divorce and COVID-19 and raising a son with a brain disease. In hindsight, it was a gift, but I still don't wish it on anybody. But it really gut checked me. And I had a choice to either fold or become better.
Justin's superpower, gosh, honestly, his ability to navigate his daily life. Being a single dad is one of the most difficult things that so many people could have the opportunity to do and be. And Justin shows up and does it at an extremely high level. And I definitely view that as a superpower for sure. Justin is the kind of person who would do just about anything for his boys. His heart and driving force behind everything that he does is truly them.
We weren't allowed to work. Clients weren't allowed to host events. Clients demanded money back, and they were very nasty about it. The government told me I couldn't work and gave me no option. And I made a decision that I was either going to do something else completely, or I was going to restructure the way that I operated my business. I decided that we were going to operate at such a high level moving forward that we would get the respect that we deserved. I'm not in this business to take advantage of people, but if somebody's willing to invest in me, I want to give them my whole heart. And I say, if people want to work with us, they're going to have to invest in us, and we're going to invest in them. So we got together as a team and we said, where do we need to be priced to offer ourselves 100% with our head and our heart for one day? We don't charge for time, and we don't charge for tools. In the Marine Corps, we adapt to whatever the situation is and we overcome. So whatever we're doing today, we have to be willing to let go next year or the year after or tomorrow and adapt to whatever the new opportunity is. And that ball that's rolling is going to get faster and faster and faster.
Having rebuilt his business from the ground up, Justin now focuses on a mission far beyond a single event. The goal is to create an impact that lasts not just for a night, but for generations.
I had the opportunity to be in a coaching group with Eric Davis. He is a sniper instructor for the Navy SEALs. And Eric said to me one time, he said, do you feel like if you DJ somebody's wedding, that they're gonna have a more successful and a more long-lasting marriage? And I laughed it off, and I was like, no, I don't see how that correlates. He didn't laugh. He looked at me straight in the eyes, and he was serious. And he said, I want you to go think about that for a couple weeks. And when we came back, I realized what he meant. What you're saying is that we all impact each other. And the wedding is the gateway to somebody's marriage. And marriage is hard. When we hit those tough moments in life and in marriage, we look to our past for inspiration. And we're always going to look back to the wedding day. We're going to think about our vows. We're going to look through the pictures, and the feelings that we had in the moments that those pictures were taken are going to come back. And if I can create an environment that is so happy and so uplifting that it provides extra power, support, and inspiration in those difficult moments later in life, that's what I'm here for. And I think one thing that a lot of entrepreneurs do is we're always running, we're always chasing, we're always looking at the horizon. But the issue with running toward the horizon is that it never gets closer. And so we feel like we're not making the progress that we want to make. And so I would say, stop, turn around, and look where you came from, because you're going to see how far you've come, and the horizon's never going to get any closer. So never stop chasing it, but never forget to turn around and see how far you've come. Our life and our legacy is defined by the decisions that we make every day. The decisions that seem small and seem minuscule and don't seem important, they are. Stay the course, listen to your heart, and always stay close to God. My name is Justin Babbitt, and I'm a legacy maker because I seek to create ripples through generations of positivity and impact.